good?
Yeah, I'm good. I know. Are you guys good?
Yeah, we're good. Okay. Well, we'll get started. I'll just kind of do a brief intro, and right now we're in game week. Very excited to get to this point. Preparing for a team that we really don't know very well, Taylor University. They do have some experience coming back from last year. They returned 15 starters. Their strength is probably on their defensive side. They finished in the top 20 NAIA in several different categories, so that was the key to their team last year. They do return some offensive players that have played a lot of football for them. Return all 5 offensive linemen. Have some receivers that are extremely impressive, especially one I think averaged close to 120 yards receiving per game, yards per game. And then specialty, they do need to replace a punter and kicker. So and normally when we do our press conference, it's Monday going into a Saturday game, and here we're doing a Monday press conference going into a Thursday game. So for us, this is more like Wednesday in our preparation. But so we're midway through the preparation phase for this game, and it just feels good to be in this phase, knowing that we got a ball game on Thursday night. The players I know are excited about that, and just trying to see who we are as a football team more than anything else is you know, what we're hoping to show come Thursday. And our philosophy going into this week, again, not knowing a whole lot about Taylor University, we really are keeping the focus on us also, playing our game, doing the things that we want to do offensively, defensively, and with the special teams, and just trying to make everything fit into its places. We went through a lot of turnover in the off season, so there's been a lot of meetings that have gone on, just making sure that everyone is on the same page. So this is a very important game for us as far as bringing the entire picture together, and hopefully making it seem natural, and hopefully we're operating with high efficiency.
You had mentioned last week that your guys' offenses are similar. How so?
Well, there's a lot of times when you look at it from a defensive perspective, you look at how personnel is used, how formations are used, and that's probably where there's some similarities. They run a lot of the same formations that our offense will do. They're definitely probably heavy into 11 personnel, which is one running back look, 1 tight end, 3 receivers. So we've been preparing against a lot of the things that our offense does, and hopefully that'll give us enough of a foundation to be able to adapt, because that'll be the key for Thursday night. We need to adapt on the run, because we're just not quite sure the looks that we're going to see.
You say you're going to bring your whole picture together as far as the offense and defense, but will you actually use all of your offense and defense, or will you save some for later on?
Now, I'm not talking about X's and O's. I'm talking about program administration.
Okay.
Just having it all come together for a number of the coaches. This will be our first game that we actually coach together. So, you know, with that part of it, making sure that just the smallest details, you know, what time do we leave to go onto the field, you know, who walks out with the players, who does this, who's doing the stretch. I mean, all those things, everything that's done on game day is coordinated. So, and we've never been through a game day together.
So not only will you have a meeting after the game sometime to discuss how that went, but with the coaches to discuss how things went and what you can do to improve it.
Well, most definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's where the coaching, everything starts from the top, works down, and that's something that, you know, even my role, adjusting to that, being a defensive coordinator, being as active as I am right now, our practices are even changed. So, you know, how we call a ball game, that'll be something that will be new for me. I've been coaching for 30 years, 18 years as a head coach, and, you know, I'm adapting. So those are things that happen with each season. It's nothing that's you know, uncommon, but it's something that you need to be aware of because there is that adjustment period that will occur. You know, I think you watch any college game, those first 2 weeks of college football, the thing that you try for as the head coach and as a program, you don't want to look like you're playing an early season game. I mean, you don't want to have those penalties that, you know, hurt you. You don't want to, you know, have miscues that you know, can hurt you. So you try to be as mid-season form as possible, and you know, that's what we're trying to establish also.
You know, how much of the fact that you have such a new staff played into, you know, choosing Taylor as your first opponent on the schedule?
Had nothing to do with that. We just needed a game. You know, more than anything, we needed a 12th game so that we can get some experience and kind of put everything together. And that was very concerning. And it's not us, it's programs across the country. Scheduling that 12th game is almost impossible, and you know, especially at the FCS level, there's just not many games that are available, and there's some teams that just don't want to play it too. So you know, anytime that you've had some success, you know, you're viewed as a high-risk type of opponent, and therefore some teams would rather play an opponent that is more of a sure thing. But these non-conference games are critical. You know, that's what kept us out of the playoffs last year. We have you know, one more win in our non-conference schedule last year. You know, we're in the playoffs. So and everyone realizes the importance of these non-conference games. So that's why you need to be successful.
You know, how challenging has it been, because they're an NAIA school, you know, you're not competing in the first game against somebody that's FCS, that you have, you know, common opponents, you have film readily available, you can talk to other coaches. I'd imagine it's a little bit harder to, like you said, you don't know a ton about this team.
No, you don't know, but the one thing I have is experience at that level. You know, the NAIA may be viewed as a lower level football, but there's some pretty good talent there. It's not unheard of to have an NAIA program come in and beat a FCS program. That's happened on several occasions in recent history. You're looking at a team that's coming from a conference where the national champion of the NAIA has, and these two different teams have come out of their conference, so that you know they play good football. You know, plus they return a lot of starters. I mean, so you're kind of sizing things up, putting 2 and 2 together, thinking, you know what, and they're talking about making the playoffs. I mean, that's their preseason goals, is, you know, they want to get their playoff run going. They want to make their, you know, statement as far as who they are as a team. So, you know, this is a team that we have to respect at a high level.
You talked about you're adapting at that new role with defensive coordinator. How comfortable are you calling plays at this point, Dale? Through the 2 scrimmages, you got to experience that a little bit.
Yeah, well, the calling the plays, that's not the difficult part. The thing is just the time management that goes into everything. You know, so for me, the most challenging part is, you know, you take a job that was 24/7 being a head coach, and then you throw another 24 hours in that, you know, 24-hour period. I mean, there's times where you just don't have time to do everything. You know, even in the press conference here, in the past, I've had displays where you had stuff up on, you know, neat things to look at. You're not going to get that anymore. You know, our staff meetings, I've had these notes and everything that you can go. I don't have time to do that. So, and it's not necessary, but the things that I have to do is manage my time to a level where I just address the things that need to be addressed, and then go from there.
With this being a lower profile NAIA school, is there any concern among the coaching staff that the players may approach this as a game that's already won by SIU?
Well, I think you have to have that respect for the opponent, and you know, for us, we're a team that we're trying to make a statement. We're trying to, you know, have a name here. We're not in the top 25 right now. You know, we're picked as a mid-league team in our conference. We haven't been to the playoffs. You know, so you worry about a little bit of that, but the reality is, we need a ball game. We need to get out there and play our game, establish our identity, and then build off of that. So, you know, I think our guys are pretty focused at the challenge at hand.
Is this a game where you're gonna run how you normally run versus any other opponent, or are you gonna practice some sort of situational drills in situations that may not occur for it, like a 2-minute drill in the second quarter when you got 8 minutes left to play? I mean, are you gonna try?
You play the game. You don't, you prepare for a game, a 4-quarter game that could go down to the very last play. I mean, that's the mentality. And as you're calling a game, that's how you have to call it. Now, as the game progresses, naturally, things change, and whether you're playing from behind or playing with the lead, then you adapt the game plan from there. But you never go into a game saying, okay, we need to work this, we need to work that. What you basically need to do is find a way to put yourself in position to win the game at the end.
Is there any players that won't be available for health reasons?
Yeah, we got a few that right now are nursing their injuries that probably need another week. You know, Ken Malcolm won't dress. Keytre Solomon won't dress. Adam Feeney and Josh Scadlin.
And then, have you made redshirt decisions as far
Yep,
as?
we're going to activate or play 3 freshmen, 3 true freshmen. They are Jimmy Jones at the receiver, running back position, Ryan Neal at the safety position, and then Chris Atkins at the safety position.
Dale, can you talk about your running back position? I'm assuming Agnew's good enough to go. Who's his backup this weekend?
No, we're sitting pretty, our depth is very good. I mean, if you look at it, we're really 4 deep at the running back position right now. Mikael McCall will be available to run at the tailback position. Cameron Walters available to run at the tailback position. And then Jimmy Jones is also going to get some carries at the running back position.
You plan to use Tay Willis as a wide receiver mostly? What Tay Willis as a wide receiver, not a running
And then
back?
Tay could, and Tay was a running back last year, one of those slash type players, but right now, yeah, our depth is strong enough at the running back position. I know some people think we're thin at that spot, but that's probably one of our deepest positions right now, because we do have a lot of guys that have moved over to other positions where we feel pretty good about that talent.
So when you pull a red shirt off freshman like that, that means they're gonna get some playing time every game, just pretty much, right?
Right, you do that with the intentions of playing them, and now both with Ryan Neal and Chris Atkins, those are guys that can be very good special teams type players for us. Ryan Neal has really had a solid camp playing the safety position. He's going to be a good player.
Will Jones do any returning for you?
He's also been working that position, so he's available both as a kickoff returner and punt returner.
They play 2 quarterbacks. How many, I guess, how is it split reps? I mean, is it 50-50?
The 2 quarterbacks they have, the quarterback that was coming back from last year, one of them is not returning.
Okay.
So they have a quarterback that had been playing receiver for them last year that has moved. That's actually the number 1 quarterback. Number 11 is played receiver last year, big kid, about 6'6", pretty athletic. So as far as doing the scouting reports on him, we've actually even gone back and visited with his high school coach, just you know, what type of quarterback was he?
Yeah.
With the new offensive coordinator, are we going to see a big change in philosophy and offensively?
Well, I think it's there's a change, and again, I don't know with fans sometimes if they really understand the changes that are made, but you know, there's a change in philosophy, and even with I think the way our guys carry themselves. So there's probably as much as anything a change in mentality.
And your secondary, you know, it was a scrimmage, but you had some penalties that cost you. Do you feel like you prepared those guys, or you feel like they're prepared to stay out of those big penalties on Thursday?
You know, the toughest position to play on the field is the defensive backs, and it's just, that's the one call that I think is missed the most. And even there, I mean, we're watching it, and got guys, if you're gonna play on the receiver, you're gonna get a few calls go against you from time to time. So it's the obvious ones where it's just poor technique. But if we got guys that are running step for step and are with them, I mean, that's what we're trying to do with our secondary. So the more aggressive that you see us play in the secondary, that's a little bit of the consequence that can occur, is you might have a few more pass interference penalties because we are being more physical.
Now they had 36 sacks last year, Dale, and they lost some guys, but their coach says they're going to be aggressive. When you watch them on film, do they blitz a ton, or they just rushed 4 guys and they were that good last year?
They're a 4-3 defense, and again, their package, their coach has been there. He's another guy that's coached football for 30 years. He's been there a long time. So, you know, there is some things that we know are probably going to be pretty consistent from year to year with them. So, pressure is something our offense is used to seeing just because of what we do. So, now they're just doing it out of a different look, the 4-3 look, so that can present some challenges for us offensively. But I do think we have some, you know, good plans on how to adapt and you know, take advantage of that.
Do you like the idea of opening on a Thursday night?
Yeah, I do. I think there's a lot of advantages to play on Thursday night. You know, the big one is just getting into that game or that season mode where everything is such routine. You know, this gives you a couple extra days just to catch your breath after the first game, because you do put a lot of effort into this first game, and you can evaluate things a little more. And then once you get into game number 2, then everything is very routine-like. But it's just nice to play the game on a Thursday night, and especially with this weekend coming up, where, you know, fans always, well, I went to the lake, or, you know, couldn't make it to the game. Well, Thursday night game, there's no excuses for not showing up.
With this game being on a Thursday, you gotta give the guys a little extra time off afterwards, or is it gonna be just straight into business as usual for the IU game next weekend?
No, it's our normal. We'll treat Friday like Sunday, and we'll treat Saturday like Monday, you know, which is an off day. You know, so we'll give that off, and then we'll come back on Sunday, and we'll have a night practice just like we did last night, and then we'll give them Monday off again. So that'll probably be the one thing that's a little bit different. They'll get an extra day in the mix.
Coach, what are you looking for out of Marquette now that your first game?
You know, I'm looking forward to watching them play. You know, I've seen them every practice. You know, I've brought pressure against him, and I've seen him make some very impressive throws that you're just kind of going, whoa, that's good. And so what I want to see is him do that now in a game setting. I just want to see him go out there and play the way he's capable of playing, and, you know, I think that's going to impress some people.
Are you hoping to potentially get some work out of the 2s and the 3s late in the game possibly?
Can't even think that way either. I mean, it's just one of those that naturally any game that you go in, I mean, you're always okay, the what-if scenarios, but as far as the game planning is concerned, that's just something that yeah, you don't really, you know, your main focus is to win a game, and you're expecting it to go 4 quarters.
Is Ryan West your backup quarterback this week?
Yep, Ryan is number 2 at the quarterback spot, and again, Matt Vincent's another one that hasn't been able to really do much here in pre-fall, so Sam Strock will be the number 3 quarterback, but his shirt is not pulled.
And you know, Agnew's looked healthier than usual. He said his hamstring hasn't bothered him. Has he looked different to you this camp?
Well, I thought even going back last spring, I think he's found his burst, that acceleration that makes the good running backs special. His quickness is, there's times where we've had him just cornered and he's gotten out of it. So, you know, I'm looking forward to a good year from Malcolm, and I think his durability is there. We ran him early in pre-fall, tested him early in pre-fall, and he passed that test with flying colors. You know, so I think he's going to be a very good running back for us.
Use him in the return game too, kickoff return?
Don't need to. You know, that's the other thing. We're fortunate enough, we have enough return type people. with Stephen McKinney and Tay Willis and, you know, Jimmy Jones, a few of those guys where, you know, that's kind of their deal, but he is available to use in the kickoff return if we need be.
When you saw Jones on tape and perhaps live when he was in high school, did you really project that he could contribute his first year?
Well, you never know, you know, level of competition, who they're playing, you know, you're making assessments on there. We knew we liked him. We knew, you know, otherwise we wouldn't have gone after him as hard as we did. But he kind of exceeded expectations almost immediately. We bring our freshmen in for weight training in the summer, in summer school, and from the very first time that he got into drills and lifting, I mean, he's made a positive impression. So, you know, he's one of those individuals that I think is college ready right out of freshman or right out of high school. So, you know, we'll see.
Same thing with the safeties.
Yeah, now Ryan Neal, again, Ryan grew up in a family, a football family, several members that have been playing in the NFL, and you know, so I don't think he's been real intimidated, you know, coming to a college campus and kind of being a part of all this. So he's had the mindset that he was going to be ready to contribute at a high level, and he's getting better and better with each week that he plays. My confidence in him is definitely very high right now.
So both safeties picked up the schemes really fast, pretty much.
Yeah, well, with Ryan Neal,
Right.
he's picked it up well enough where he's pushing the guys in front of him.